When I used to live in Muirhouse, I lived directly across from the doctor's surgery. The doctor had the doctors in there had an excellent reputation, and people queued up all day long for consultations, One morning, there was an urgent knock on the door, the house. When I opened it, the caller said, "Come quickly, Father. A man's just dropped dead on the pavement outside." So, grabbing the sacred oils, I rushed out, and sure enough, there was a man lying prostrate on the footpath. I anointed him conditionally, as there is a presumed interval between the real and apparent death. A small group of people encircled the body. We were only a few yards from the door of the doctor's surgery. I was struck by the cruel irony of it. Had he survived these few extra yards, his life might have been saved by the doctor. As I straightened up, I made this observation aloud to the hushed bystanders. "You have it all wrong, Father," a woman replied. "He was just on his way out from the surgery. Whatever the doctor's recommendation was, he took it with him to the grave." Doctors, as they say, bury their mistakes. In today's gospel, the woman with the 12-year-old hemorrhage has undergone long and painful treatment under various doctors without getting better. Of course, medicines then and up to quite recently was fairly primitive. For most of history, people prayed for real miracles to cure their infirmities. In the Middle Ages, death stalked everywhere, not just in pestilence-ridden cities. War was endemic and hygiene unknown. Town and country swarmed with the deformed, the maimed, the crippled, and the blind. Death ran riot throughout Europe through the horrific period of the bubonic plague, aptly called the Black Death. Nothing stood between the individual and his eternity except God. The centre of every church was its shrine containing relics of the saints. People flocked to those shrines in search of cures. Many travelled great distances to Rome, to the Holy Land, to Compostela, believing, like the woman with the hemorrhage, that it would suffice to touch an important relic to restore them to health. Compostela claimed to have such a relic too, no less than the remains of St. James, who had watched Christ raise the daughter of Jairus to life. One could hardly come closer to the healing power of Christ than that. But the world has changed dramatically since then. In our own time, cures have been discovered for almost every human ailment. We have all become fervent believers in the miracles of modern medicine. Clinics have replaced churches for the stricken. The few relics that have survived serve as embarrassing reminders of our naive past. But was it all that naive? Christ claimed nothing else for these two miracles than the faith of the participants. "Your faith has restored you to health," he told the woman who was cured of her hemorrhage. All that separates us from her is the depth of our faith. Even modern medicine, in spite of extraordinary successes, is rediscovering the importance of the patient's faith in his cure. Who knows? That man who went out the surgery door might not have stepped so abruptly into eternity had faith in his doctor not faltered. That, like the doctor's prescription, is a secret he took with him. Christ, now as then, can cure our sicknesses. All he needs is our faith. Of that, places like Lourdes is proof, if proof were needed. God could find it. With a little courage, we could touch it. Do not be afraid, he says to us, as he said to Jairus. only have faith.